Hey everyone, welcome to this week's episode. So today we are going to look at budget bidding. Now I'm very aware that in our consignment updates I'm showing you a lot of guitars that come into probably the upper hundreds into the thousands categories, and I appreciate that doesn't suit everyone's budget. It's probably all the guitars that you love to ogle at, like ourselves, but I think it would be good to look at more of these budget range guitars and things that I think are very good guitars for the money. Certainly in terms of that budget, that's the budget I look at when I buy guitars as well. I can't afford these bigger budget things. So we thought we'd have a look around. We'll be featuring a lot of the day two guitars, and then we'll have a look at some of the day one guitars as well. So as you all know, just a quick announcement. As per the last video, the catalogue is now online, auctions.gardinerhoulgate.co.uk, where you can register and bid. And of course, if you prefer using the preview website, guitarauctions.com as well. And of course, we do have demo videos going up for the higher profile guitars, so do take a look at those. So let us begin. So what was the big news this week? Well, we all saw that Gibson have released the Kirk Hammett, or I guess it's more the Peter Green, anyway, the Greeny in Epiphone form. Now, with an old headstock as well. So the original headstock, like a Gibson guitar, but the asking price is £1,500 for an Epiphone. I have not seen the quality of them, so this is a little bit in jest as well, and this isn't really the budget we're going to be focusing on this video, but we did find this a little bit amusing. Here we have a Gibson Les Paul Classic. Hammer price, this will probably fall around £1,000. Put on the buyer's premium, you're looking at a shade over £1,200. Put an Epiphone decal on the head, maybe even get some Greeny pickups, and you could have a Gibson quality Greeny for slightly less than the Epiphones. You can even change the knobs. It is a little bit in jest, but and I haven't assessed the quality of the Epiphones. Maybe the Epiphones will be better than the Gibsons, who knows, but I am very looking forward to seeing them. I'm a huge Metallica fan anyway, and a fan of Peter Green. I won't be getting one myself, but just as an example, we'll move on. And sticking with a similar theme, but we're a bit more serious in terms of budget now. So Bernie Guitars, it's not one of the Japanese ones, so it's one of the it'll be Korean or Chinese factory. I think it's Chinese. I think they're pretty sure this one's Chinese. So, but these are very, very good quality, and hammer price, these tend to fall in at around £200. So by the time you put the premium on, you're looking at a take home of, you know, £250-ish. But if you look at the finish, again,
it's remarkably similar to something else.
It's remarkably similar to the Greeny thing. Change the knobs, you could even upgrade the pickups. Do Monty's do a Greeny set? I believe Monty's might.
They might. They do a bunch of different path sets, don't they?
They do. So, and then, yeah, if you want it to look like the Epiphone one, put an Epiphone decal on the head, or even put a Gibson decal on the head if you really want that Greeny look. But joking aside, these are very, very good guitars for the budget, very good Les Paul copies. So whether you want to copy a Greeny or not and have a Greeny for under a quarter of the price of the Epiphones, that is a very good option. This one is lot, there we go, 279. And this will be on the day one sale, so the 5th of December. Very good Les Paul. So we're currently in our upstairs sale room, which is where Part 2 guitars are located. My surroundings are a little bit untidy because we are in room transition. We've currently got an antique sale going on downstairs right now, in fact. That's a 2-day sale. If you're into antiques, check out the catalogue. 4 sales a year. Jewellery, watches, all sorts. But guitars on a budget, hammer price likely falling in around £200 or lower. A 2020 Squire Jaguar the modern Squire guitars are fantastic quality. They really, really are. Some people may not like the pickups. I think I could live with them personally, but some people want an upgrade. But you can, especially if you shop around second hand for pickups, you can pick up some absolute bargains. We even sell pickups in our sale, so have a look at the spares section. If you're after pickups, we've got some really great pickups coming up, Seymour Duncan's, other boutique makers, and even some Gibson pickups as well. So have a look through the part 3, day 3 collection of pickups. But anyway, aside, these are really, really great quality. I think my only observation personally is the fretboard's a bit pale, but you can get a bit of a Montepresso, I think it's called, and rub it in, and very good stuff actually. I got a pot of it myself, so we seem to be talking about Monty quite a lot. This isn't sponsored by Monty's at all. Matt is a great guy though, but yeah, darken the board down a little bit, just to give it that look, and I think that is an exceptional guitar. Good weight, very similar weight to the the lighter end of the Fender offsets. Can't really go far wrong. Bass guitars, Westone, as in general, really good brand. Certainly the 80s one. So this is made in Japan. Damasio pickups. It's a really high output pickups. As you can see from the serial plate, 1982. This one was made. Fantastic quality. A similar thing, the hammer price never really go much more than £200, but these are good solid bass guitars, nice and simple, very, very solid, very well made, Japanese built. And yeah, if you're looking for a good solid bass guitar, and I do think a lot of these Westone guitars, and we have found very recently in the last year that a lot of Japanese stuff like this has started to shift upwards. So still very affordable, very buyable, but has got the future potential, especially people of our generation. I'm approaching 40 now, and I think these are the guitars. I guess these were the budget used guitars when I was first learning that people used to buy. And I think from a nostalgia point of view, a lot of our generation now, who are getting more disposable income, can afford to, look at this nostalgia and buy into. So
nostalgia's got a lot to answer for.
It does have a lot to answer for. So I'm not saying it will be a good investment, but trends would say that this is a probably quite far in the future investment, but still a very good solid bass and great for the money, and still falling in around the £200 hammer price budget. 150 to 200 I'd imagine on these. Japanese made Squires. So these are 90s era, but just very well made solid things. Always a good weight, good components. Again, wouldn't take much to do a pickup upgrade if you really must, but these pickups are, I think even some of the ceramic Squire pickups I quite like personally. Not everyone's thing, but we do have quite a few of these. In fact, I think we got 2 as consecutive numbers in the sale. In fact, there is the other one. The 2 very similar Japanese made Squire Strats. Very good quality things, and very, very good for modifying. Now, I don't really know a lot about these, and I can't say I've ever seen one before, so there will be some of you out there who know more about these than I do, but this is a Fullerton Movibe, and it's very obviously, as you can tell from the name and what it looks like, based on the 60s, 70s Mosrite guitars, Mosrite of California. So it's just got a really cool, quirky look. And because of its Asian origins, it's probably not going to sell for a lot more than a couple of £100 hammer, maybe a little bit more. But I think they've got a really cool look. It's something a bit different, and this is a good quality guitar. especially for the money. So yeah, something a bit different. And this is lot 775 in the catalogue. So these are really good guitars as well. Hona Professional, 80s, 90s guitars. Obviously very much based on the whole offset Fender Jaguar thing, but with the 3 pickups. I think they look smart. This isn't in the best of condition, it's a little bit untidy, but a bit of cleaning up. Again, very modifiable if you really do want to make it a tonal beast. But yeah, this is a JT60, and Hona Professional guitars from this period tend to be very good. This one's lot 773. I'm going to use a term that I absolutely detest. It's the V word, versatile.
It's not a PRS leak.
Yeah, anyone who owns a PRS knows what I'm on about. But anyway, joking aside, this is a very versatile bass because it is a PJ hybrid, precision bass, jazz bass hybrid. Now, Squire, a lot of these what I'd call budget Squire bass guitars are very, very good indeed, and I think because of how bass frequencies work as well, in some ways it doesn't, you can get away with a lot more, I think. Now, in the band that I'm in, the bassist, a very good friend of mine, he has recently made his own, custom built his own bass guitar, essentially using a Squire body, Squire hardware. He's changed the neck, which he managed to pick up for £50 a Mexican neck, and he's put some half decent pickups in, and it cost him hardly anything to do, and it sounds and plays far better than some of the US Fenders he's got. I was quite blown away when he brought it to our last practice. Transformed the low end. But anyway, this is a very good bass. Regardless, you can get hit and miss with Squire because of quality control, but generally with more modern ones, I mean this one's from 2015, so but this is a good quality bass, candy apple red, looks the part, versatile in the fact you've got both jazz and precision bass workings, and lot 769 in the next sale. And we have a wall of cigar box guitars you've probably noticed in the last couple of clips. Now, a lot of people do have fun custom making cigar box guitars. These have actually come from a deceased estate, so I think we've got double what you see on the wall, in fact. But they are good fun, and with Christmas coming up, generally £20-30 each at auction. Christmas coming up, possibly a good fun present. These are quite well made, Capo Custom. The deceased used to make them and take them around to folk festivals and sell them, and used to have good fun doing it. But yeah, they are great fun. There's some different variants, fretless, fretted. There's even a racket one. Anyone for tennis or badminton, I guess is more correct. But yeah, very good indeed. You can get very high-end LTD guitars as well, so there's a broad spectrum running throughout, but this model in particular, I think, as Chris just said to me, so much bang for your buck with these guitars. You know, probably less than 200 hammer, or if around 200 hammer, and you know, it's set neck, decent hardware. Pickups probably would benefit from being upgraded, but it's a good looking guitar, it's a good weight, good quality, and like you say, a lot of bang for your buck, especially as I guess these are for the more heavier rock orientated player. Really, really good option.
It's a really comfy guitar, and a set of EMGs wouldn't cost you that much.
Exactly. Travel guitars. So this is a Taylor Baby, and this is one of the, you get them from the US factory and the Mexican factory. This is actually a US one, lot 782 in the next cell. Comes with its original soft case, I believe, on this one. And they usually come in at less than £200 for a US made acoustic guitar, travel guitar. They are very playable, very comfortable, great armchair guitar. So again, thinking ahead of Christmas for a loved one. A fairly inexpensive acoustic guitar, very well made, and I think these Taylor babies are definitely some of the best travel guitars within the budget range that you can buy. So check this one out, 782 in the Day 2 guitar cell. Let's talk about EVH. So this is Music Man's budget range, sterling, and this is, I guess, based on the Wolfgang. And they are very, very good indeed, especially for the money. This will probably fall in hammer price 150 to 200. Stick the buyer's premium on top, and you come away with a very affordable instrument that is of great quality. Satin neck, really comfortable to play. The frets are good as well, sort of medium jumbo frets, and probably, you know, not the greatest trem system in the world in terms of, you know, quality and budget, but it's there and it works. You could very simply upgrade the pickups if you wanted to, but there's nothing wrong with these. I do think these are fantastic guitars. Indonesian made, but like I said, satin neck, good finish, nice bit of maple quilting there. Can't really go wrong. So this is something that hardly any of you will have seen, because this has been made by a local gentleman, a chap called Kevin Andrews. I've known for years, but he makes his own guitars just out, you know, through leisure, really, leisure and pleasure. And he makes a very, very good guitar. He's made a lot of guitars out of base models. He bought us over an Epiphone once that he'd sort of put this veneer cap on, and it was just incredible, really. It was a really good thing. But Kevin makes a very good guitar, and these usually come in at under £200 hammer. Kevin's basically retiring, which is why some of his guitars are coming through. But just look at the quality of this guitar. You know, it's the bird's eye maple laminate he's put on there. I'm pretty sure this is a fairly budget pickup, so I would say that it could probably benefit from a pickup upgrade. But the neck is very playable. It's quite thin but chunky at the same time. But it's a really, really good solid bass guitar. So if you're after something that is fairly simple and won't cost you a lot of money, and it looks nice as well, there you have it, the Andrews SBB. Another great guitar for modding, Yamaha Pacificas. This is the PAC120S. It's got a double humbucker option. So yeah, these are very, very modifiable. They're good guitars. I remember when I was about 21, I was due to play a gig, and I had a disaster with one of my guitars, and I needed a backup, and a very, very good friend of mine lent me, because it was the only person I could grab a guitar off, a HSS spec Yamaha Pacifica, completely stock. I played it, and it was very, very playable, and it sounded great even with the stock pickups. And I believe it was in replacement of my much loved faded Gibson Flying V, which had a terrible accident. Shame on me, not long after I bought it, but thank you to my friend for getting me out of a hole there. But yeah, they are generally good guitars, just as long as they're set up well. Most guitars, to be honest with you, are good, but this will come in at under £200, probably with the premium on top as well. So very good guitar, very modifiable, good looks. If you're a snob and you don't like the brand on the headstock, just take it off and have it unbranded, or put a decal on, who cares? But no need for brand snobbery, because you can get a very, very good guitar within that budget. This example, not in the best of condition, and not many of you will have heard of this brand, but a brand called Maya, initially Japanese made. I believe production went out to Korea, but this is a very, very good bass. It is featherweight as well, fretless, nice maple board, but these are fantastically made instruments, and I would rather spend a couple of £100 on this than spend north of £1,000 for a older US Fender bass. I think this is just as good, and I was saying earlier, you can get away more tonally with bass frequencies, depending on how much output you need, of course, but it's in reasonable condition. I mean, it has obviously been used. This is a Japanese one, as you can see there, but Japanese made, very good quality, and should not be overlooked if you are after a fretless bass. Sticking on the bass guitar theme, another Music Man licensed company, OLP, and this is their 5-string. So basically it's a Stingray 5, but on a budget. These usually come in, including buyer's premium, at around £200, and they are very, very good. To be honest with you, the only thing that you would need to do as an upgrade, in my personal opinion, because the hardware is solid, is if you want a slightly beefier pickup, change this. That's all you need to do. So that might be another £100 investment, and then you will have a very, very good solid bass guitar for around £300, especially if you're after a 5-string. Revelation, another budget brand that shouldn't be overlooked. These were designed by Alan Entwistle, and they do all sorts of different copies of. They do copies of the usual things, you know, Fender copies, but they also do things that are slightly of their own design. But these are very good quality, and the hammer tends to fall around £100 on these, and there's nothing wrong with them at all. Always very good quality. As we've said with previous things, they're very modifiable if needed, but this is something a bit different and a very nice guitar indeed. Can't really mention a budget video without going for Harley Benton. I think the quality control, I don't know about the very, very modern Harley Bentons, but the quality control of them I don't think is always great, but these come in at between £50 and £80 hammer with premium on top. So if you're paying £100 all in for that, you've got a lot of guitar for your money. And again, easily modifiable. The one thing I would say is they're probably the cheapest looking Klusons I've ever seen in my life. Don't know how well they work, but a lot of people tend to rave about them. A lot of people play nothing else, and I mean, there probably is a reason for that, as people's budgets, but I think these are very, very good guitars. This one's a bit different in the sort of copper orangey finish, matte finish, but we do have quite a few Harley Bentons. We're seeing more of them coming up, and if you can get one that's a decent weight, because they can be a little bit heavy, get one a decent weight, then they're very, very good guitars, and again, with a few modifications, a good thing to look into. So this guitar would actually usually be in day 2, because these tend to come in around the mid-hundreds in hammer price, but it does have some issues. So we'll start with the neck. I do not know how that's happened with that big chunky volute, but it has. So the neck does require some repair, which, to be honest with you, is not going to be the most astronomically expensive repair, especially if you can do it yourself and do it well. And there is, the top has fallen in a bit around the switch, but very, very good guitar. Seymour Duncan pickups, some decent pickups in there, very good quality, German made, and this is the Diablo model. So because of the things that are wrong with it and need fixing, it being in need of attention, we've put it into day 2, because we'd expect, because of these things, for it to fall under £200. But if you can get it within that range, you've got an incredible guitar for the money. German quality built, really, really nice thing. And like I said, when all in, they tend to be mid-hundreds, but if you can buy this and even do the work yourself, you've got a fantastic instrument there. Haven't really featured many acoustics yet, apart from that Taylor Baby. These are incredible, incredible, incredible guitars for the money. Seagull, this is the S6 Slim, and made by Goden, essentially in Canada, but they are very, very good. A couple of £100 and less. Obviously premium on top, but there is a lot of guitar there for the money. Very good. I believe that's cherry back and sides. They certainly use a lot of cherry and cedar top, but it's a really, really nice guitar for the money. Very much in line with, I guess, Simon and Patrick's, also made in Canada, that kind of thing. So a really, really good, solid guitar. I guess at this budget we call them campfire guitars. Guitars that you don't need to be afraid of taking around and playing, but tonally they are very, very good and a comfortable play. You'll see in the rack here we have quite a lot of these Switch Vibracell guitars in this auction, and these are quite interesting. I think something to do with 3D printing. Are they the first 3D printed guitars or something like that?
Grown or something.
Yeah, it's very interesting. But they tend to come in all in at around £200 or less, and they come in these really cool neon colours and just something a bit different. I think they're amazing quality. I think that they sell for less than they probably should. But you get all sorts of options between, I mean, most of the ones we've got here are hardtail, but you can get trem versions. But modifiable, put a set of higher output or the humbucker pickups of your needs. Again, darken down the fretboard if you must. But they are very, very good guitars. I mean, you've even got some decent Grover kidney button tuners on there. And you'll certainly stand out. If you're into your 80s hair metal, super Strat time. Here's an SL series by Aria Pro 2. Also should not be overlooked. This one was made, I believe, around 1987, and a very, very good super Strat. Probably not the quality of trem a lot of super Stratas would like. Most people like to go for a Kahler or a Floyd Rose rather than a standard Strat trem. But you can see the idea they're going for. But, you know, regardless, this is a good quality guitar. Yeah, can't really say a lot more. Want a 335 on a budget, and you can put up with the Epiphone headstock, which I'm not the biggest fan of their Epiphone headstock. Prefer the Gibson open book headstock, which Epiphone are now going to be doing.
But not on all models.
But not on all models, on their custom shop models. But anyway, very, very solid 335 copies. The Epiphone Dot, they're just good, solid guitars. And to be honest with you, they don't even need any modification. You can do. Of course, you can upgrade your pickups. But apart from that, they're just good, solid guitars. And hammer price wise, these tend to come in at $250 on average, plus your premium. You've got a good solid 335 guitar for less than £350, and compare that to the shop prices of these, grab yourself a bargain. Let's talk about Cork guitars. Now, Cork would not usually be a brand that I do feature, and more often than not, I'm personally not a huge fan of them. But you know, it's all subjective. But the Earth series acoustics, on the whole, I have found to be very, very, very good indeed. And this is a very, very good indeed acoustic. Needs a bit of setup work, action's a little bit high, but it can be done. But I think these are very good acoustics for the money. Probably get this with an all-in price of under £200. So very much worth looking at. They are good things. So I thought before we have a look at a few more guitars, it's worth mentioning things like pedals. Because if you haven't got the budget to go in for a guitar, or you just want an accessory, and again with Christmas coming up, something for your loved one.
What would you like for Christmas, Luke?
Well, I'll tell you. So we do sell a lot of pedals. In every sale we can have between 100 and 200 pedals. Last sale we had nearly 300 pedals, lots of pedals in the sale. This time we've got over 100, I think 150-ish. We've got some very good things, and to suit every budget really. including some sort of vintage example stuff. For example, a lesser spotted 80s Boss Tiwa. So fairly collectible these days. And then we've got things like is your loved one into Jimi Hendrix? We have the Jimi Hendrix Experience Digitech pedal. This does not have its box, so therefore it shouldn't really go for collector's prices. So if you're not too worried about having the box, then there you go, that is a good option. And we have other things that, you know, I'm mainly looking at things that stand out to me.
Things that you want that are on your Christmas list.
Don't know what you're talking about, but for example, Jim Dunlop again sits on the Jimi Hendrix theme, the Roto Vibe. These are amazing pedals, and yeah, you can pick these up for about £120 hammer. They're good fun, and a good, I said expensive stocking filler, but it's a good filler nonetheless. But we have all sorts again with the box fuzz face. There we go. Good Dunlop fuzz face, not one of the older ones that are astronomical prices these days, but these do the job. But we really do have all sorts. I mean, that would be on my list. I love octave pedals. There's the OC3 Super Octave, later Taiwanese made one, so you know, they will come in at around £50-60 hammer. Modern Tube Screamer, not a vintage one, so a Tube Screamer that will cost you probably £80 or £90 hammer, as opposed to £200 plus, £300 plus even for the original Japanese ones. But there really is a lot of good toys, good fun toys. I mean, if you're coming over to view, then you could almost spend all day playing with these things. But again, another modern day Tube Screamer, which will not cost you the earth in comparison to some other things. But as you can say, we really do have all sorts. There's Maxon's take on the Tube Screamer, their OD9 Overdrive. One of my very good, one of my favourite bands, I think, use these instead of a Tube Screamer, that being Killswitch Engage. I'm massively into heavy metal, and they use those to boost their overdrive. But yeah, you can see on the rack here going down, we got a Fender Reverb Tank reissue over there. Really cool thing. Some vintage things again. DoD analog delay, now become collectible. Some Japanese Boss pedals here. Electro Harmonics modulator, the EVH MXR Phase 90, Electro Harmonics Canyon, Earthquaker devices, again more Boss pedals. These were always good fun. I remember these, and these don't come in at much at all, but the old Ibanez Weeping Demon wah pedal, but these do quite a lot, and they just look cool as well, don't they, if nothing else. And we even sell pedal boards and lots more. And you can see underneath all of our spares. So we probably can't make up much from the camera, but you can see pickups and all sorts. All these decent pickups down here. There's even a 1965 Gibson set with full set of pots as well there somewhere. Going back to pedals, if you're looking for the vintage side, there's an original Echoplex. If you want a tape echo unit, but we really do sell the lot, catering for many budgets, but in general you're looking at the low, under £100, up to mid-hundreds obviously for some of the collectible ones, but certainly catering for that lower budget. Worth looking at. So we've gone back downstairs, which means we are at the plus £200 budget. This is day one guitars, but there are things here that are good bang for the buck, and I'll try not to go over the mid-hundreds range in terms of hammer price, it may take, including the premium, some of these things may go slightly over 500, but I think some things that are worth looking at, and there's a certain type of guitar that in the auctions they don't necessarily sell for, not sell for what they should, because generally in our auctions everything sells for the correct open market price, but they can be overlooked because
slip under the radar a bit.
Yeah, they slip under the radar because the type of buyers that go for them wouldn't necessarily be looking at our auctions to buy them.
Yeah.
Now what we're talking about is mainly a lot of what I'd call the hard rock, super Strat type guitars and things of that nature, like Ibanez guitars, because naturally we have a lot of people that are into more traditional guitars, your Fenders, your standard Gibsons, huge amount of buyers for those, but your metal buyers, which I'd probably be one of them,
And me.
wouldn't necessarily look at auction as a way to buy, and they'll be looking at the private listings more so. But that does present a very, very good opportunity to get some things like the quality on this is just
It's phenomenal.
amazing. So this is one of the Indonesian ones, made in 2017, S-Series Ibanez. But these are really, really good guitars. This isn't an S-Series, actually, it's an RG. Excuse me there. But you've got the sort of trans white finish on the top. There's a bit of staining, but really good Damasio pickups, hardtail, so that suits me. Nice and simple with a bit of coil splitting. But these are really, really good, solid guitars. So if you're into that kind of thing, you will get a mid-hundreds bargain compared to what these retail out at. Have a look at the new prices, but these are fantastic, and we've got quite a few of them. All come from a single owner collection. I think we decided this is like the thinnest guitar probably in the sale.
Body and neck.
Body and neck. The neck's a bit too thin for us, but this is an Ibanez Prestige. So this is Japanese, full-on Japanese quality. Very, very high-end guitar, which again, hammer price will probably come in at around the mid-hundreds. So you're getting a lot of guitar for your money. So if you've got friends that are into this kind of guitar, let them know, because they could come away with a pleasant surprise after the auction. And I'll just show a few more of them. They're just worth looking at. So there we go. We've got another Ibanez Prestige, Japanese made, very, very good again, good quality, very good pickups, Damasio pickups again, good quality hardware, sort of some of the best of Ibanez Japan. And of course we do have some, I guess, not necessarily lower grade, but that's a lot of guitar for your money. You got the Fishman Fluence pickups, which a lot of people within this playing style are raving about these days. A lot of artists are moving over and being endorsed by them. Very, very high-end artists, especially within the metal genre. Some of my favourite artists, including guitarists from bands like Lamb of God, for example. Their sound is just huge. They use they're now Fishman endorsed artist. And yeah, again, a simple thing, one knob. You got the selector switch for your pickup variations, and just really, really good quality thing. And I love the flip paint finish. That is an incredible guitar for your money. You're missing your trem if you really want a trem, but like I said, I prefer hardtails. But there we go, worth looking at, very much so. And just looking here, we've got some Korean, Chinese and Indonesian made Gretsch guitars, going for that vintage Gretsch vibe, but these are very, very good guitars, and hammer prices tend to fall between $200 and $350 depending on model, some up towards $400, but by the time the premium's on, you are still getting a lot of guitar for the money. So some of these lower end Gretsches, I mean, this one in particular with the two-tone finish, the licensed Bigsby, but Korean made one, 2017. Hammer price, that will be £400 max. That's a lot of guitar for your money, under £500 all in. Very, very good indeed. G&L, Leo Fender's last venture. Very good guitars. Now this is pushing the budget a little bit. We're getting into hammer price circa £700, but they are just as good, if not better, than Fenders, but it's just a brand snobbery thing. You don't have Fender on the logo and the head's a slightly different shape, so people don't tend to go for them, but they are incredible guitars. We do have a few of them in the sale. It does push the budget a bit for this video, but overlook them at your peril. Local luthier to us consigned a couple of guitars to our auction. This is a very, very well made guitar. This could fall hammer price under £500 for a home, no, not homemade, handcrafted. He's a professional luthier. Michael Hicks, based in Malmesbury, not far from us at all, and it's a really, really nice guitar. It's got this herringbone spruce top. It's sort of based on a classic Martin Dreadnought. You've even got this vinyl pick guard. I think that's a really cool touch. But this is, I really, really like this guitar. When he bought it in, I wasn't just being polite. I was singing the guitar's praises to him, because it is a fantastically made instrument with a lovely tone as well. I think guitars like this, obviously with a lot of the business that is done online these days, people that are bidding online might overlook something like this because it hasn't got the brand name, and they may be nervous in sort of buying into it. So this is the kind of thing that someone will probably come down to the sale room, wouldn't have it on their list when they're looking at the online catalogue, pick it up and play it, and they'll think, oh wow, that's a good guitar. So you could potentially be getting a lot of guitar for the money with this one. It's a luthier that you should check out, Michael Hicks. He goes under the name, that is his brand, IX. But check them out, they are very good guitars indeed. Can't mention a budget video without mentioning or looking at a few Peerless guitars. So made in the Peerless factory, so Korean made. Peerless of course made guitars for Epiphone at one point, and various other that still do for various other brands. Very good guitars indeed, and the average hammer price of these is £300, normally always without fail. This is the Retromatic, so it's a model that we see less, but we do have quite I think a few Peerless guitars in the sale, but they are very, very good guitars from the very good Peerless factory, and it's got a cool look, hasn't it? Check these out in the catalogue as well, lot 317, 316, and a few other guitars around this lot range. Custom build guitars. These were put together by one of our regular customers actually, and he makes them out of very good parts. These bodies are MJT bodies, very well regarded bodies, great relicking, and good quality components. We mention all the components in the catalogue. Have a look at these because they're really cool looking guitars and will come in at a probably low to mid hundreds budget, so very, very much worth the money. I love Reverend Guitars, very good quality again, Korean made, and a lot of I guess the reason that I'm drawn towards them is a lot of my favourite bands, being a fan of punk. A lot of punk artists have Reverend endorsements now. In fact, Billy Corgan, Smashing Pumpkins, another one of my favourite bands. He is now a endorsed artist with Reverend. So again, these come in hammer price at the low to mid hundreds range and should not be overlooked. They are fantastically well made guitars. PRS Guitars, the SE models are definitely worth mentioning this auction round. We've got a good range of the earlier Korean ones, later Chinese made, and Indonesian ones. But I don't think we've ever had so many PRS SE guitars in an auction before. So have a look at them, because they do fall within the hammer price range depending on what you're looking at, between 200 and 400. This is a soap bar model, so hammer price will probably be around 200 on this one. By the time your premium's on top, it's a very, very affordable, Very good guitar indeed for the money. Another Epiphone guitar, Epiphone Casino, in natural. You've got the John Lennon look going on. These come in at, again, the Casinos from this period, £300 hammer. Very, very good guitar for the money. 60s Levens, I've spoken about these before, and this is probably a bit of a repeat from one of the consignment updates when we saw this guitar, but these really, really do rival a lot of Martins and Gibsons from the 60s. I'm a huge fan of them, and I'm a big endorsee of them, really. So this is a mid-60s. I believe this is the the LM26, I think. There's a bit of muck over the last digit, but I think it's 6. It's a very good guitar. I'm not saying that they're going to be for everyone, but if you get an opportunity to play 11, please do, because if they're in good enough condition and they're set up well, it will be a decent guitar indeed. And some traders are asking a lot of money for these days, for good reason, but you can grab these for mid-hundreds hammer price. They're very, very affordable, and they are amazing. So there we go, ladies and gents. Thank you for joining us again for another episode, and for this more budget-friendly video. I hope that I haven't gone and shot the price of some of these things up for those of you who are wanting to bid, by putting my shoulder behind them and giving them a good reference. But I think it should have been done. Next week we will be back with the saleroom tour, so we are nearly there. We've just got to clear an antique sale out this week, and then our gallery space will be open for that saleroom tour. So we'll be back next week with that video. We are on view as of next Friday. So today we are the Wednesday the 22nd of November. The 1st of December we will be on public view, so the Friday and the following Monday, which will be the 4th of December. So we're open 9 till 5 for public viewing. Please come down, have a look. If you can't come and view and you're interested in any of these guitars, just ask for a condition report and register and bid away, just in time for Christmas. And the auction 5th, 6th, 7th and 8th of December. Catalogues online, auctions.gardinerhoulgate.co.uk, or if you prefer to use our sister website, guitarauctions.com, go and have a look there. Please remember to like our video, hit the bell icon for future uploads. All the video demos are going up at the moment as well, so have a look at some of those for the choice pieces, especially if you're looking for 50s Gibsons or 1999 Zamatis custom deluxes. If you're specifically after that, we do have one. We've got some really lovely vintage pieces in this sale. If you do prefer looking at the budget things, because we never really know what people prefer, just let us know in the comments. If you'd like to see more, comment below, and we will do this more, because naturally we get drawn towards the higher value stuff, and a lot of the time these videos may even become a bit selfish, because I'll feature things that I think are cool myself, and I probably say the word cool too much, but there we go. So again, thanks for joining us again this week. We will see you next week, but have a look at those video demos while you're waiting.